Will, talk to me.
ABC Tuesday.
They took his daughter. She's coming home alive.
Will Trent, the series critics are calling powerful must-see TV, continues to thrill.
Shouldn't we strategize before we go in there?
If we screw up this case, a cop killer walks free.
With the riveting conclusion to a 2-part season premiere.
GBI!
Help me!
Get down!
Will Trent, all new Tuesday on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create that infinity up your you. I'm your host, Isaiah, and we are continuing to wind down the year in the best way possible and bringing the new year on a good foot. And the way I'm doing that is just having awesome conversations with, my friends and family, or the people in my life that inspire me, that are very talented on their own and in some way, shape, or form, just impact the world in their way. So today is no different. I'll be talking to a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine, a very talented friend of mine, and you guys will get familiar with him, and it's someone you should be looking out for, because he's definitely going to make his mark in the entertainment industry, and already has. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to have that conversation. Also, again, as always, if you like what you're listening to, head on over to iTunes, where you can subscribe, rate, review, comment. A little bit goes a long way. Trust me. And it helps the podcast grow. And that's what we're here to do. Just make this sucker grow. If you want to get some merch, head on over to the Bird Brain Podcast store. The link is in the bio. And if you want to become a patron, link is also in the bio. Different tiers, different rewards, and just different ways to stay connected. And you can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at the Bird Brain Podcast. So without further ado, I hope you guys are looking forward to this conversation, because I'm excited. Stay tuned. Rise above it all. Stay elevated. And create that infinity of your you. Of your you. Guys, what's goody? How are you? How's everything? How's your heart? Did you eat? I hope you guys are doing all right. And like I said, I've been getting the opportunity to have pretty amazing conversations with people in my life that just exist to do better and be better in the world, but also very talented, just very awesome humans. And lately this has just been an opportunity for me to brag out loud about them and have them come on here and talk a little, but just have the conversation. And today's no different. So my buddy Jojo, we have a pretty colorful history in the best way possible, and it's dope. I think it's dope. How you come across people in your life, and just how you guys always kind of lead back to one another. And with Joe, it's been no different. Solid dude, very talented, and he's here today on the podcast, and I'm excited to have a conversation with him. So without further ado, Joe, what's good, man?
How's it going, man? I appreciate you having me.
Dude, thanks for being on. It's going well. Just chilling. I know back east might be a little bit different in terms of chilling than LA, but yeah. How are you doing?
Nice snowstorm the other day, so everything's covered in white.
Yeah.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, that's
that going for us.
Absolutely not. I think I've avoided. It's so funny. I've been avoiding, not intentionally, but I think it just goes to show how I move in the Christmas season. But I haven't really listened to any Christmas music.
Yeah, I haven't either this year. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I have listened to no Christmas music at all, which is weird for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a big Christmas dude?
Yeah, I usually enjoy it. This is the first year, too, that I haven't gotten a tree.
Oh, wow.
So I put up a little ceramic tree that my mom made a few years ago.
Nice.
And so I have that out, but otherwise I don't really have any Christmas decorations. I don't know, dude. It's a weird year.
It's, to say the least, it's been a weird ass year, dude. So I think it's like you get a pass. Honestly, I don't have a Christmas tree up. I sent out gifts. Made sure to send out a couple of gifts, and I think beyond that, I'm like, I'm cool, you know. So I tell this. I know this podcast is about mental health and stuff like that, but it's so funny because my favorite Christmas songs are kind of the ones that are like, I guess, low key melancholy, or just have a different. They're not uppity.
No, yeah, I'm the same.
Okay, yeah.
Same.
It's bad. I try to not say that in all company because I'm like, I don't want, you know, people to be like, yo, what's wrong with this dude? But I will say, where are you?
Those songs exist for a reason, though, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Like it's not just us, or the songs wouldn't be there.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's something I talked about recently, but also I talked with my mom. You know, the holidays are weird. It's not, you know, there's the Hallmark holiday, then it's the reality of the holiday in a household. And I think for everybody, it's a little bit different, like your experiences. And a lot of times I feel like there's a lot that comes up during the holiday season. A lot that comes up that's been kind of just like bubbling under the surface, or, you know, in one way, shape, or form, it's just been kind of avoided. And then I guess it just, you know, it just pops up around this time of year, you know?
I mean, the way that I've kind of looked at it or observed it in the past has been, it's not that, like, everyone wants the holidays to be perfect, right? So it's not that things are different on the holidays. The family dynamics and interactions are the same.
Mm-hmm.
People are the same.
Yeah.
You put this pressure on the day to be perfect and special and happy.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, but the family dynamics are still the same. So whatever usually happens that is like a normal day, that's going to happen, and it's going to be more disappointing and amplified because you wanted the day to be perfect.
Yep. You put your expectations on it. Yeah. And I think there's a whole nother way of thinking about it. I think, like, you know, people think that, you know, buying gifts is going to fix, if you get the perfect gift, you can fix the imperfections in the relationships or the households or the dynamics. Like, you can fix it. And the thing about gifts, though, is like they get old. Well, the thing about gifts with some people, and we'll get into that, the thing about gifts with some people is, like, you know, they're looking for the next one, while, you know, some gifts do have sentiment and they do withstand the test of time, and they do, like, you know, symbolize something beyond just the moment in itself. But yeah, that's a little TED talk.
I think that definitely goes to the person. I mean, there's definitely like you can put your time and effort into getting a thoughtful gift, or you can just go grab whatever or give a gift card, and it's like, all right, cool. And some people like that, and some people like me, I'd rather get a thoughtful gift from somebody than, you know, them giving me some expensive gift.
Yeah.
It means more to me if it's thoughtful. And I can tell that they were giving it out of love and not just like, oh, I felt like I needed to buy you something expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Tell us a little bit about yourself. While, like, in terms of, like, who you are, what you do, your journey.
I'm good.
Yeah. I'm good. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a writer, actor, director, producer.
Mm-hmm.
depending on the day, what order I put those in.
Absolutely.
Yes, I've been living in New York and been creating things up here for the past few years, and really trying to break into the industry.
Yeah.
And those aspects. I started out as a writer when I was a teenager, and then I got into a fender bender with a movie producer while I was in college down there, and we got stuck talking for like an hour while the police made their report. And I just started, he started talking to me, why don't you write a movie instead of trying to be a novelist? And I was like, I guess I can try. So bought a couple screenwriting books, taught myself how to write a script, and turned a novel I had at the time into a script. And then I started like, maybe I'll just try to film this thing, because I was young and naive.
Yeah.
And so I got some friends together in the small town I lived in, and just, trying to... we filmed a couple of scenes from the script and made like a little trailer out of it, which was cool. But that, I couldn't find actors in the town, so I was like, well, I'll just act in it myself. And I couldn't find, a director. I was like, I'll just direct it myself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got started with those things, and then really fell in love with the whole filmmaking process. And you're only going to get so far down in Florida with that, so I ended up moving up to New York to further explore that those passions.
Yep.
Yeah. So been hacking away at it, and we'll see where it goes.
Because when did you come to New York? Because we met.
See if I get the year right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it was 2013.
Was it 2013?
I feel like it was. Yeah.
Okay. So 7 years in, huh?
Was it 7? Jeez.
Yeah, 7 years in, dude. That's good. That's good. They say if your friendships last 7 years, then they're usually like the lifers. If they can make it past the 7-year mark.
I mean, I've always felt we were lifers.
Yeah.
We go through our ebbs and flows of, how in touch we are with each other, but I feel like we're always connected.
Yeah.
So when I moved up here, and I think it was 2013, and my cousin Caitlin was taking acting classes in the city, and I was, so the easiest thing for me to do was just jump in with what class she was taking, and I think I met you probably the first class I took there, and you were nice enough to kind of extend your friendship to me, being the new boy in the city.
Yeah.
Because I was out of my element, man.
Right.
I mean, like, coming up from Florida and just even being in the city, but then being like in acting classes and having to expose yourself and in front of people you don't know. I was definitely out of my element, and I appreciated that you would you noticed that, and you noticed too that I was going through some things. Like I made the move, and then like reality set in of like, all right, now I moved up to New York. I have no job, no money, and like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe for me spiraling down into depression.
Right.
So you were definitely good about, from the get-go, just reaching out to me, like, how you doing? You good? Let me know if you ever need to talk. let me know when you're feeling down, or if you knew something, you could tell something was off in class, or if like something came up in class, because again, you're being vulnerable and raw in class, and you're like, you can't hide,
right?
You gotta expose what you're feeling, and
right.
The acting teacher will usually make sure that happens.
Yes.
So you knew what was going on with me, and I appreciated that you were looking out.
Well, real recognizes real. I think that's the whole. I mean, that's how. I don't know. For me, and well, for one, I appreciate you saying that, but also too, I appreciate that like you felt like safe. Like, hey, this is this dude actually gives a shit about me. It has no agenda beyond just like being a friend, because I think in this industry, as you and I both know, and just in life, it's like it's hard to kind of just cross paths with people who are not looking to take, but also just like be present. And there's no perfect way of doing that, but you can at least try. You can make effort, and I think for me, you and I are kindred spirits in the sense of like, we've gone through our battles, whether it be like internal or just like in the world. So it's like you could pick up on it on other people, and it's like, sometimes it's not about being completely perfect to be able to be present for somebody else. It's just like a willingness to be like, all right, well, how can I be of service to this person? And so we should perform, even if it's just like, hey, just let you got at least somebody, you got somebody, because when it all comes down to it, sometimes that's all we need. It's just like to make sure that we have somebody checking on us, making sure we ate, making sure we drank water that day.
Yeah, man. And I just like when I first moved up here too, I had like, I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I had basically lost my my community that I had built in Florida. Right. And so I really had no friends at the time.
Wow. Okay.
So it was like, I think again, just that was something that you noticed, like this kid needs somebody, but I think it's like you said, it's those rare moments where you meet a kindred spirit that you can instantly be able to bond with, because like I'm not the most trusting person, you know. It's not like I just open up to everybody and anybody that's willing to listen.
Right.
So it's being able to recognize that, Isaiah, he's real, he's a good dude, and he's somebody that I can trust. So I appreciated that I was able to trust you, because I really needed that at the time. Dude,
likewise, man. I appreciate that. It's never one-sided. Trust me, it's never one-sided. And it's guys, and Joe didn't really go into detail about his writing and his acting, but I can honestly tell you, working with him, especially in class, the dude's good. He's very talented and very like shrewd, very intelligent human. And
I appreciate that,
dude. That's real. I think it's.
You knew I wasn't gonna talk.
Oh yeah.
Brag about myself.
Yeah,
at all.
I know you wouldn't do that. So it's like that's where I come in. Tag me in, bro. The thing, like I said, guys, the thing about me is, when it comes to people I call friends, is not just about like what they can do, but it's also too about like just how they show up in life. Despite whatever like history or journeys, we're all going through, it's kind of like this commonality of like, look, I just want to be better. I want to feel better, and I want to make sure at least I'm being of some service to the world. And JoJo is no different in that respect. And like I said, very talented, very intelligent, and, very hardworking, very hardworking. And the time we spent like working together, like I said, in class, and also like getting to see some of his projects on screen, and reading some of his work, all of it is cool. And the funny thing, there was this pilot that's currently Boyfriends. So that came about because of Joe. So the funny story behind that is, Joe and I think it had been some time that we hadn't really talked to each other. Time had passed.
Honestly, probably a couple of years.
I think it was a couple of years. Yeah, it was probably a couple of years. And I get a phone call from Joe, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good, dude. How's everything?" And we got to chat, and he was like, "Hey, wondering if you want to check out this project." And I was like, "What's it about?" And he gave me the rundown, and I was like, "Wait." I was like, "I feel like I've auditioned for this." And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I just gave him what I knew, and he was like, "Hold on, I'll get back to you." And ended up being the project. My audition tape apparently got submitted after, or they never looked at my audition tape, and I ended up
From
booking.
my understanding, your audition came in after they had already picked.
After they
whoever
picked.
they were going with.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then what happened was he ended up having to drop out, so they were looking again.
Yeah.
Which I got wind of, and I was like, all right.
I got a
Let's see what
guy.
Isaiah's up to.
Yeah. Hey, I got a guy.
That's exactly what I said. I think I got a guy.
I got a guy. Hey, I got a guy. And that's like that literally, it was crazy and very serendipitous. And I think it was just like, for one, it got us back in touch, and also two, it just created a lot of different other connections too, but just kind of like propelled things in another way. And for me, I always pay attention to the small things, the small ways that people show up for me, because we're not obligated to each other when it's all said and done. I think we're responsible for how we treat people, but we're not obligated to people. So whenever there is an opportunity to recognize how you are treated by someone, and there's no, like I said, there's no agenda, it's just them being present and thinking of you, that's always something to kind of take stock in and admire, because it's like, oh, this is coming from a source of, I'm capable of being present in your life, so let me do that. However it works out for me, that doesn't matter. It's just like, you're in the forefront of my mind right now. And whenever I am talking about Boyfriends, or whenever I have interviews about that show, like, I always bring it back to Joe and I. And Joe, I don't know if you know that, but yeah, every time I've had an interview about that show, first person I talk about, I'm like, yeah, this is how it happened. My buddy Joe, like, got me in the mix of this project, and I think it's good. Like, regardless of what happens with that, I'm just always grateful for how it happened, and the root of it.
Yeah, I always love that story too. Just because, like you said, it got us connected again.
Mm-hmm.
And it all, showing. I had just a small role in it, but showing up on set and us reconnecting on set, that was really an awesome moment.
Yeah.
Of us finally reconnecting again, and yeah, I mean, you gotta. I feel like that's so much of life, is like you gotta just appreciate whatever it is that comes out of something. Like, maybe it doesn't go where you wanted it to go, but it got you something else.
Right.
Like, so maybe that role didn't take you where you wanted it to, but it reconnected us. Or even going back to my story with the movie producer that I got in the fender bender with. Yeah. He's the reason I moved to New York, because he said he was going to do something with me.
Right.
And I moved up here, and he just, I literally couldn't get a hold of the guy anymore.
Dude, that's the LA way, bro.
I was like, well, I moved up here because we were going to do the thing, and now you're not answering my calls, so I don't know what I'm doing. But not, in hindsight, I can look back at that and be like, who cares? Like that broken promise or whatever got me to move to New York.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the experiences I've had up here. I'm grateful that I'm not still living in Florida.
Right.
And that I've been pursuing my passion.
Yeah.
So there's so many things in life that happen like that where you gotta trust whatever it is that the reason is for whatever's happening,
Yeah.
Like you might not see it in that moment. But yeah, I was very, very happy to be able to be a part of getting you that role, and that it was, and it ended up being a good experience, and that ultimately it reconnected us.
Yeah. 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 It's a good thing. It's a good thing. You're a good guy. You're a good guy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. So you have a series that is it circulating right now, or what's the deal with?
No, so right now we shot a proof of concept pilot in January. Thankfully, we shot it before the shutdown happened.
Yeah. Because
we would have been in hot water at that point. So we got it shot in January. We then edited everything during quarantine. And so we have the final product, and we're kind of shopping it around right now. We haven't released it publicly yet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with it. We're happy with how it came out and everything. But, yeah. It was it was like I had a decent budget on it, so
yeah.
it was a good learning experience, and it was just fun doing it, and like seeing all the work that I did up here in the last 7 years kind of come to that point of, all right, this is what you always wanted, to have a budget to be able to create something, and now you have it.
Yeah.
Like, go do it. And like, yeah, so to have that moment in time was really amazing. And then, you also realize how much people, like, it's such a collaborative art form, and I couldn't have been blessed with a better cast and crew, and there's just like everything went so smoothly, and really hit just a great energy on set, and yeah, it was an amazing experience.
I love that.
So again, whatever ends up happening with it, like obviously I'd love for it to sell and be able to make a series out of it. But I made some amazing friends on that project that have really transformed my life.
Yeah. In
that short period of time, like it's been almost a year since we filmed it, and like there's people on that were involved in the project that really have changed my life in that time. So like maybe that was the point.
Yeah.
To meet those people, or to just, again, have that experience, learn those lessons that I learned along the way of making the project. You never know. Again, obviously, I would love to sell it.
Right. Yeah. That's always the goal.
But yeah, it was an amazing experience, and whatever ends up happening, I'll be grateful that I had it.
I'm happy to hear that, bro. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. I think.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just firmly believe that hard work always comes out in one way or another. It just always works out. I firmly believe that, and it's like the beauty in it is that things are usually happening in a big way outside of just the moment. It's like you can't really see what's happening, but it's like there's something greater in store. And this is just kind of like a component, it's a little grain of, of sand that's for the bigger picture. So you're going to be fine, my guy. You're going to be fine. How, and like you said, you filmed that and you got that all taken care of in the beginning of the year. I'm sure it was like a a ride, to say the least. How have you been taking care of your mental health throughout this year, or just in general? Like, what are some daily practices for you that you think are like they're a part of how you move? And like maybe someone else could be like, hey, I could use that, or I could try this, or I should try this. Like, what has helped you?
Yeah. Well, it's been a complicated year.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's been plenty of times throughout this year where I wasn't taking good care of myself.
Right.
And I think, one, you need to be easy on yourself.
Yes.
For those times, because I can go back and beat myself up about, dude, you spent a month doing nothing.
Right.
Literally nothing.
Right.
Probably more than a month. Like, what was up? So I could either beat myself up, or I'd be like, no, that's like where I was, and that's it. Like so I think you need to be easier on yourself, and especially in a year like this.
Yeah.
And then the times I am doing good, like I feel like I'm doing fairly well right now. You just got to look for the things that are working.
Right.
And I've been exercising more lately.
Mm-hmm.
I've been focusing on keeping my diet in line, and definitely, putting and the thing is, I have to do both of them.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not exercising, I can't keep my diet right.
Yeah. They go hand in hand. Yeah.
So yeah, doing those two things. And then at the beginning of quarantine, I had a good friend of mine teach me how to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing that, and then I was into it, and then, like I said, there were times where I wasn't doing well, and I just literally was doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so I kind of fell out of that, and in the past month or so, I've gotten back into the daily routine of making sure I get my meditation in. And again, just like, it makes a world of difference.
Nice.
And it's hard to do these things when you're in that rut, right? And
yeah.
Spiraling down, it's hard to get yourself to do them.
Right.
So I think it's important when you get that brief glimpse of light that you jump in and start doing the things that are going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Because they will sustain you then through when those hard times come again. It's easy when the good times come and to be like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to focus on meditating or exercising or my diet. Like, I feel good.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's when you need to be doing it, because you'll get yourself into the routine of doing it.
Yes.
For the next time that you have that down spiral.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that whole concept of like, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And it's like a lot of times, we take care of ourselves after we are forced to take care of ourselves versus like you said, practicing sustainability and just healthy habits. So when there is a moment that arises that kind of knocks us off kilter, we already have certain things in place to take care of ourselves, not, scrambling to do something. And, I think the thing about mental health and, depression, all those things is like, you're not walking around with a broken arm. Is not a visual thing. A broken arm is like, yeah, you got to immediately take care of that. Usually somebody with depression or something in between, a lot of times they have a smile on their face. A lot of times they're getting their work done. They're showing up to work. They're doing their thing. And it's like, you don't really know. So for a person that has it, that may be journeying through, is like, putting certain things in place because you know how you feel and you know that the world in itself may not necessarily see or understand it. So how do you take care of yourself in those moments when you know, isolation does arise, or you don't feel motivated or encouraged to do much of anything, you know, how are you being present for yourself? And it's hard. I think, you know, for me, like I said, this time of year is kind of weird for me. And it's like, it's funny because even recently, the last couple of weeks, have just kind of like taking it out of me. I'm like, what the hell? I'm trying to pinpoint what it is. And it could be burnout. I'm not sure. But, you know, one of the things I really try to stick to, and I've consistently been at it, even when I don't want to do it, because it's a little thing that helps me, is 5 gratitudes a night. You know, what was I grateful for in the day? And just because that's a healthy practice of like perspective shift, you know, even if I'm not feeling well, what are some things that I could look at, even if they were just moments, you know, that just kind of like made me feel good, or something that I appreciated and valued. And, you know, now it's to the point where it's like, I always have something to be grateful for, because it's like, I always take time to process and think about it. Not just when, like you said, when things are going well, but like even when I'm not feeling at my best, I still have things to be grateful for in a very realistic way, you know, not toxic positivity, but like just moments of like, this was cool, you know, this helped me, or this felt good, or this person did this, or I did this for myself. This was all right, you know? So it's like, you know, I think when it comes to self-care, and Joe, I'm sure you could like align with me on this, is not about the big things, like taking, you know, biting off more than you can chew in a moment, and thinking that you have to figure yourself out immediately, or it's all for nothing. Like you said, you know, sometimes you could go a month without doing anything productive, and that in itself is like, that might be what you need in a moment. You know, then it could change completely, where it's like, all right, you're on top of your game. And you know, you can go in and out, always go in and out. But how you take care of yourself in those small moments can allow you to have even just a healthy perspective of, you know, what's going on. Because I think even healthy perspective is self-care. You know, not beating yourself up when you're not feeling at your best is self-care, because the common default is like, oh, you're not doing anything, you're useless. Or, you know, you didn't accomplish this like you said you would, oh, you're a failure. You keep flaking. You're not motivated. Maybe this isn't for you. And instead of looking at it that way, it's like taking moments to recognize, okay, what am I feeling? What am I processing in this moment? Why is this happening? What's the catalyst to it? Is there a catalyst? Or do I notice a common pattern? What can I do different in this moment? Even if it's just like picking up the phone. Because a lot of us in Joe, I know you're good at this. A lot of us, huh?
Like, come at me, let's go.
I think a lot of us are good at, I don't want to say a lot of us. I'll say I myself, and Joe, I know this about you personally, is like, we don't always speak up about like our shadow moments. You know, we don't always speak up when we need help screwing in a light bulb. And what I mean by screwing in a light bulb is just like, well, we need light, you know, when we need help, you know, fixing that frequency, even if it's just to be like, hey, I'm not doing okay right now. And maybe you could just listen. Or maybe me just saying out loud for once, hey, I'm not doing okay, is a shift in how I usually deal with things. And you just start small, you know, you really start small. And, you know, I've made it.
I'm definitely, you know, I'm not the best at that.
Yeah. You've gotten better.
I've gotten better.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that there's a couple people in my life, you included, who, even if we're not like in communication, you can somehow tell that there's something going on with me. Yeah. And I have, you know, a couple people in my life that are like that, and will reach out to me and be like, hey, you know, are you doing okay? What's going on? Yeah. And then, you know, that obviously makes it a little easier for me to be like, know I'm a mess.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not good at if I'm sitting alone at night and like going through it, picking up the phone and reaching out to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm trying to get better at, and I think part of that too is just you gotta find. The first step is finding people that you trust and can do that with, and I have that.
Yeah.
So then the next step is just like for me, the reason I really hold myself back from it is like I don't want to bother this person. I don't want to be
a burden,
nuisance, or I don't want to be that guy that always like seems like he needs help or something, you know?
Yeah.
So and those are all the lies that just run through your mind.
Yeah.
I'm not a burden to any of these people.
Yeah.
I'm not a burden to you. I know that.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that space, those are the things I'm telling myself.
Yeah. 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 It's a toxic relationship I think we usually have with ourselves because, the things we go through will convince us that, hey, it's easier to break you down if you're alone. It's just like in an abusive relationship. If I can alienate you from everybody that cares about you, then I have an easier time doing what I need to do with you. And a lot of times, with mental health, our thoughts and our feelings and our self-image is an abusive partner, is an abusive and toxic partner. And the best way to keep us in that self-fulfilling space is like alienate us. One of the things I've learned is like, and I try to remember and apply it for myself too, is like, I know when it comes to my friends, like, all right, for Joe, he's not a burden for me. It's like, I rather know that you're not doing okay opposed to you not being okay and not saying anything. And I think that's what it comes down to is like, it's a difference between someone not doing well and working on being better versus someone who's not doing well and they stay in that space. Because that in itself, in all honesty, is a waste of energy. It's like, you're not valuing my friendship or our relationship if you keep bringing me the same problem. You dump it on me, and then you go about your life, and you continue to do it.
Exact way, yeah.
Yeah, and because I'll be there. It's like, all right, I could, whenever I have a problem, I'll just go here and just dump it off, and then I'm gonna go, tra-la-la, back to what I was doing. But I think it's different. Hold for plane. The planes are out today. It's COVID.
I missed that. That was nice to hear. I missed that. Just hearing that, being on a set. Hold for plane.
Yeah. Hold for plane, man. I think it's I'm actually leave that in this episode. But yeah, I think it's different, and I've had to learn that too. But like, I know. The best thing we can do for other people in our lives is like care about them as much as we say we care about them. Not just say it in the moment because it makes us appear great, but being present in those moments when we're not great, when they're not great. And that's why with Joe, like I said, he and I, we've been through the trenches in one way or another, so I understand. And it's never a burden to be an ear. And if you want somebody to do better or you want them to just feel better and you're capable of just listening, if that's what it takes, there's no burden in that. There's no burden in that. So yeah, just check on your peoples and just like ask them if they've eaten. Something's that simple,
and be somebody that other people can trust.
Yes.
Like that just makes it, when someone is in that depressed or anxiety-ridden state, makes it 100 times easier for them to be able to open up to you.
Yeah.
Just knowing that they can trust you, that what is said is between the two of you, and they can be authentic with you, and it's not going to change your relationship.
Yeah.
And that I think that's key for the other side to know and to work on themselves to be that person.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's cool because I feel like I know for a fact it's like I could talk to you about anything. And our conversations, they span, which is great. They could be about nothing and be about everything. And, that's the great thing, like you said, about being trustworthy first. Again, is one thing to say you're this kind of person. It's another thing to exhibit it. And when it all comes down to it, in our most vulnerable moments, we just want somebody that we could be sure or certain of. And I think the way you do that is just by being consistent, even when it does not benefit you in any way, just because you give a shit. So yeah, that's the tea. That's the tea. And the industry is very interesting, because you will kind of sift through a lot of things and people and exchanges and dynamics, and you realize that it may not be the most authentic space, but every now and then you do stumble across people on your journey. And, when you find good people, keep them as much as you possibly can, and make sure that the work is being done on the relationship to sustain it. And whatever kind of like space it takes or needs, just, at the end of the day, ask yourself, hey, was I present, and was I showing up? Because again, it goes a long way, and people don't forget how you make them feel. That's for damn sure. People do not forget how you make them feel. And, it's not hard to just give a damn. It's not difficult. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's just popping in my head to add on to that is, like, it doesn't need to be everybody in your life. Like, if you have toxic people in your life, it's up to you to guard yourself against that and take care of yourself first.
Right.
So, like, you don't need to be that person for everybody.
Right.
Because there are those situations where it'll be toxic. And, not good for your own mental health.
Right.
To be dealing with it. So, yeah.
Just go where it feels warm. Go towards the light in a different way.
100.
Yeah. Well, my guy, thank you for sitting down and chatting with me today, man. I know you could be playing out in the snow, but instead you're here chilling and chatting with me and these peoples, and just being awesome and dope.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Of course.
I want to, since we talked about gifts at the beginning, I just want to bring up that one of my favorite gifts that I've ever gotten was my Loki bracelet from you for mental health.
Bro.
It was given to me from you with love, and I haven't taken it off since. And I don't even know how many years it's been at this point, but it meant a lot to me because I knew you saw me when you gave it to me. Bro.
Dude. Of course. Every time you say it, it's like even now it hits me different, bro. I think and again, it just comes from this, it all comes back to just doing things because you care, not because you're expecting something in return. And that's bro. I'm glad. And it means a lot that it's held up all this time, because my sister has broken hers, she's ripped hers, she's lost hers. And I'm like, meanwhile, you've had that same bracelet for years, and the fact that you continue to wear it and it means something to you. That means a lot to me.
I literally wear it every day. You can look at my pictures. It's not like I just put it on for you to see.
For the gram, right?
It's in all my pictures.
Yeah. Dude, that means a lot. But like, if anything, I'm glad that you have, you always have a brother, near or far, wherever you are, you always got a homie, and and I have that too, and we just grow from here. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool, brother. That's cool. But hey, guys, look forward to Joe. I'll post his IG. He has his hands in a lot of things right now, in terms of like social injustices, all things in between. Like I said, he's a great dude, very intelligent, very smart, very hardworking, and more than anything, has a huge heart. and somebody you want to get familiar with now, because pretty soon he's going to be in a different space in the best way possible. So yeah, get familiar. It'll be worth your time, and you won't regret it. Know what I'm saying? But yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. Again, take care of each other, and just keep leveling up. All right, take flight.